Welcome to the Pocatello Business Podcast, the only Pocatello podcast focused on providing profits for Pocatello people. If you love our town and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Pocatello Business Podcast with your friend, host, all-around great guy, and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
You're not every one of your jobs and every one of your creative ideas is not going to be a full-on smashing success, like you said. You have to deal with failures. You have to be able to get up and keep moving.
You totally do. And I think that's part of the entrepreneurial spirit is you don't see them as failures. And this is a conversation my husband and I had quite a bit about. One of my businesses was, he was like, you let it go too long and you should have ended it. It was a failure. In my head, it was like, no, I still totally could have made that work. I still believe I could have made it work. But it's because I realized I was lacking resources. I was lacking education in some things. I think there's always a way to figure it out. But for me, each of those things I've done has taught me something that's led me to where I've gotten to the next point. And I still don't think where I'm at today will be my ending point. I think I'll continue to evolve and morph into finding what it is that I really love and what I can create and how I can serve. But when you remove that word fail and you look at it as, a stepping stone or a growth opportunity, I think it changes your perspective of what you can accomplish. It diminishes some of that feeling of disappointment in yourself.
What other pitfalls do you see business owners making that you would advise people to look out for? Just in general, as a business advisor, as an accountant, just in general, what you see.
I hope this observation is understood. Business owners are perhaps some of the most risk-tolerant people in the world, and I don't think that they see themselves as such. To be self-employed is a scary venture, particularly when they talk about many self-employed ventures, 70 to 80% of them failing. To be self-employed is to be engaged in perhaps one of the riskiest financial endeavors of your life. And I think weighing your self-employment activities as such, I think is important to understand. And let that also inform maybe just to some extent other investment decisions that you make as well.
Is there any general advice you would give some of our listeners on just business pitfalls that you would watch out for as you're getting started or as you're continuing to grow a successful business?
I go back to the support structure around. You've got to have other people. You cannot run a business and stay sane and do it all by yourself and feel comfortable. There's just certain things that is not your profession that you should hire somebody else to do. And I'm a tightwad and I grew up on a farm and we fixed everything. We did things on our own. Yeah. So, the fact of even somebody changing my oil for me drives me nuts, right? But it's not a good use of my time if I could be in my office working and doing what I know best. So in any case, having a good support structure, good accountant, good advice from other people. A lot of people don't do that. They try to do it on their own and they don't realize that really time is money, meaning their time should have a lot of value. I feel like my time has a lot of value. So whether I'm working on a patient or I'm home with my family, the time has a lot of value. And if I can have that time where I want to put it, to me that has a huge advantage for me. So I'd say that people need to have a good support structure around them and not just throw money at a wall doing the same advertising that everybody's done forever. There's so many different new ways of podcasts, Facebook and all those different accounts that you can do, which I'm not even all that familiar with. I just know you can do them. But I have people to help me do it so that we're doing it the right way instead of just the way it's always been done.
What advice would you give to someone or those that are listening to this maybe a month down the road when it comes out, that are trying to grow a company or just starting a company? What would you tell them about the culture? What the importance of that within?
I've never been, other than in recessionary times, I've never been in a startup. So I don't know sometimes what people who are in startups go through and the feelings that they have. I've seen it from the financing end of it, and some of the stresses that come with that. It's challenging. It's difficult work. you wouldn't have started it unless you thought that there was a reward at the end. And what I've learned in my experience in life is that you have to have people around you who can help you. You cannot do it by yourself. You can't create success all by yourself. You might have the idea, but you'll have to have somebody help you bring it to life. And so treat them right, and make sure that the folks who are around you feel like that they're your tool. You're not just your tool, but your asset.
For the audience listening, what were maybe first top 2 things that you wish you would have known then that you know now?
That's a good question. I think, in this business model, it's really a tight knit group of myself and my employees. Mm-hmm. I've got 7 employees right now. Okay. And there have been a couple of times over the years where we've had the wrong fit in there. And that makes things difficult for everybody. Yeah. If you have one bad seed, it trickles down and it affects everybody. So that was a big thing that I had to learn, is that you can't just go on paper for who the best candidate might be, mm-hmm. Or who has the most experience or whatever, because they really can throw a wrinkle in the mojo in the office.
Exactly. What's your secret sauce to the business? What do you think? What's part of you that makes you and your company successful?
So, first off, let me just say it's the community. And I'll tell you what I think it is about me, but I think really like what it is we have this amazing community, because I gotta give the credit where credit is due, and the credit really is due to the people that have supported us. From the regular people that come in to the people that come, every 6 months, to the person that comes in once a year. But we have the best community, and I'm guilty of actually being like, Pocatello doesn't spend in Pocatello. But I'm so wrong. Pocatello spends in Pocatello, and I love our community, and I have nothing but respect and love for the people in this area because of that. I mean, we could have been crippled with COVID-19. Yeah. We really could have. Our business could have easily, but we had people just show up to say, "Don't close your doors. We're here. How can we help?"
I know I've said this before, but you gave this example, and I've said this on the podcast, but when a pilot's engine catches on fire, he doesn't just run out and get a parachute and just
no.
He's got a checklist. Okay, well, number 1, shut the fuel off to that engine. Number 2, extinguish the flame, and then walk it down until he can land it safely. That's exactly what we have to know as business owners to continue to fly our plane of a business. So,
because it can't crash, you got 14 other people relying on this thing flying. Yep, exactly.
That's right, man. Yeah, you got a family, they've got families, everyone's depending on it. So and your customers are depending on you.
And you got pride as well. I mean, there's a lot in that, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're not just going to throw your hands up and get a parachute and jump out the plane.
Yep, exactly.
You're going to get some grit and work through those issues. Yeah.
And you talked a little bit about the financial side of things. I think that's everyone really struggles with that at the beginning of learning a P&L and balance sheet. That's tough. Yeah. That's tough stuff at the beginning. What I'm hearing right now, is that when there's opportunities out there, and when they strike, you've got to be willing to pounce on them. Right. Because if you didn't say, hey, you know what, I can do this, and just sat back, who knows where you would have been,
Right. I think that's key for a lot of people. If there's something you want to do, be ready, because opportunity doesn't knock twice.
I like that a lot. And too many people are, it happens to all of us. Should I make this jump? Should I make this leap? Is it going to be worth it? Am I going to leave something secure and go to something insecure? Insecure. So that's I like that. Well, Mike, what do you think? What do you think some of the biggest mistakes people make as business owners? What's the biggest ones you're seeing?
Oh my goodness. Well, you just touched on one. It is very common for business owners, certainly when you're under that 2-3 million mark, to tell ourselves if we just ignore our P&L, it'll probably be okay. Or we do the whole checkbook accounting, which is so terrifying. And Spencer doesn't know anything about this, because this is, not old Spencer a couple of years ago might have known a little about this. New Spencer and put up with this crap. But that whole, I have money in my checkbook, therefore my check, business checking, therefore my business is profitable, or holy crap, I'm running out of money. There's probably a problem. And the reality is, you may have money in your checkbook today and there'll be a problem brewing, and you may not have money in your checkbook today, and that isn't something that happened today. It's something that probably happened 2 months ago. And the worst time to try and sort this thing out is, holy crap, it's Wednesday. And I've been there. So please don't hear me judging, but it's Wednesday. I got $22,000 and payroll's on Friday and it's 83,000. I should probably sort this thing out. Like, yeah, maybe 2 weeks ago or a month ago, not today. So you left yourself with very few options. So that's probably one of the big ones.
As of late, I've realized we need extra help. So we even hired a consultant, and they've helped point us in a few directions that we need some help on. And one of those was our hiring process. Mm-hmm. And so we first thing we look at is our core belief system. Some people call those core values. We call it a core belief system because the way we found them, and I think this is important because there's a lot of aspirational values. Mm-hmm. Everybody has aspirations, yep. Especially if you're a business owner. And so we're still trying to fine tune this, Sure. We're not perfect. Anyways, what I was saying is we said, okay, what makes Brett? What makes Mason? And so we have a management team. Yep. And we're trying to take our management team and we're trying to find out what makes us who we are, and find our core belief system. And one of them that I'll point out is we recently said, you know what, at our core, every one of us on the team, we love to help others, mm-hmm. regardless of the pay, regardless of what it is, we love that. So our core belief system, one of them is helping others. And we, when we hire people, that's the first thing we look at. Do they like to help others? Yep. And if they don't, we don't even look at anything else. It doesn't matter if they're award-winning.
That might seem backwards to a lot of people, like, well, shouldn't you be looking at technical skills first? But we believe that's where it's at.
This is a time tracking form that I like to use. It goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to Friday. And then I have it in half an hour increments. So 8 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9, 9 to 9:30, onward up until about 6 o'clock for my day. And then at the bottom of each day, I have notes for the day. And then for Monday, I have planned tasks that I need to accomplish and what times I need to accomplish them at, and then what did I actually do during those times? And I'm telling you guys, you think it's not important, but it is. Most of the time when you think you're super busy, if you just jot something down like this, even at the very least, take a piece of paper out, jot down the things that are the money-making activities first. Get those things done quickly. I'm sure you've had to have some difficult conversations with people in the workforce over there. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, I think in any organization or business, you always have silos, right? Where you have your marketing team, and then at Encompass specifically, we have our clinical team who actually does the care to the patients, and those are licensed clinicians. And then we have our operations team that handles all of the back end administrative stuff. And all three departments, we all have our different objectives, right? Like sales team, they just want to bring people in the door. Like we just want to get those patients the services that they need. And our clinical teams, they want to make sure that they're able to provide the quality care. Yep. And sometimes quality and quantity, they don't go together. And so there's lots of examples like that where you have different objectives depending on which silo you're in. And sometimes those objectives can create really difficult conversations because you want one thing and your other partner wants something else. And so that is one of the skills that I've had to learn as an area manager, is to be able to have those really difficult conversations and have them be effective conversations, because it's not something that comes natural to any of us.
What are some of the myths that you see floating around the digital universe of marketing?
Well, I guess probably the biggest myth, or one of the biggest myths, is digital marketing just doesn't work for me, because And that also perpetuates into another myth that digital marketing is, quote unquote hard. And it's like, I always tell people, it's really easy to spend money on Facebook or Instagram or Google. They give you a nice little button that says boost post and put $20 behind it. Before you know it, you've spent $500 and you've got, I don't know, views, engagement. Well, you got something, but you didn't see any monetary return, or you didn't see any return there. So you think, oh, it doesn't work for me. And you never want to go try it again. And so that's honestly like probably one of the biggest myths is that it doesn't work for you, because I guarantee you it works for everyone. I mean, Ben and Jerry's, they sell ice cream in the freezer aisle at your grocery store, and yet they spend so much money on digital advertising. It works for them. It can work for everyone. Your audience is out there.
Congratulations on spending a couple minutes getting just a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Pocatello business community. If you are feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.